Hello, my name is Lowell. Here on Star Wars Day, we're playing Star Trek. So we're crossing the streams. We are starting a new mission, and we are with the crew of the Kintsugi. We are starting with milestones. Uh, so, what can you get? I'm going to give everybody a milestone to take. And so what can you take with that? You can increase an attribute by one as long as it doesn't go above 11. You can increase a department by one. It can't go above four. Or you can gain a new focus, or you can gain a new talent. You can also spend your milestone to give a supporting character an additional buff, or even adjust a ship system. But that's increase one by one and reduce another by one for those. Um, so I'll just put that in your head to think about, so you can take a look at the talents and things like that. You can choose those on the fly as we go. That is entirely up to you. But let's look at our ship's crew. I think in our last adventure, we got all four of the characters that we have written up on screen at least once. Some of them uh, hurt, some of them not. We'll save one of them for Dan to advance. But Commander Vate, which one would you like to do an advance for?
For the supporting characters, uh,
Yes.
I they need what was that talent that the constant presence. I just want to look at what the you need at least two values and at least two other talents. So let's give Lieutenant Tabilik a another value.
Okay.
So we've got security is a science, and let's give them another value of what else would it be? What else is a good one for today? Like I'm open to suggestions because we've seen a lot of him on the screen. His main one is a science officer who wanted to be in security, which he's achieved now. He seems
He's ambitious a little bit, doesn't he?
yeah. I was gonna say maybe open uh, open to everything, maybe just because like we see him basically in all of Ward's stuff, like scenes, basically
Okay.
like happy to jump into any like social holodeck. Like he's always seems adventurous,
I like it. I like it. I think that's nice because it does feel like an evolution of his character over time. Now that he's in a place that he likes, so that seems fair. Uh, Jolene, uh, would you like to add on? I assume to Tatasa.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like getting her a value makes sense. I just
Hmm.
need to figure out a value for her. Hmm.
Um,
D-
I think that actually, I think that maybe we messed up in the rules there. I think that they're only supposed to get their full stress track when they gain a value,
That is correct.
so they should
Oops.
already have one value.
Well, so supervisor, I just didn't change the stress track on Tatasa.
I
Um,
didn't know that, so that's why I said, well, she's got fitness of 10, so she probably has 10 stress. But
yeah,
she hasn't been in any situation where the stress has mattered, so
right.
there's that. Um, I don't know, is it like a
Imagine it like a fate aspect.
yeah, I'm trying like don't judge a book by its cover. She's
Oh,
like,
that's a good one. Yeah, that's classic.
yeah.
And that will give her a stress track and now has a determination that she can spend when she's played as a supporting character. I will go through and adjust the thing so we actually have a determination number on there so that's more and more visible so people can remember that. Uh, Ward, do you want to play with Jurez or Farga?
Um, I really know nothing about Juris except for uh,
He got pushed aside.
he got pushed aside. Yeah, so maybe Farga, maybe she needs a talent.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Um, so let me just bring up
I
some
uh,
list of talents.
Obviously your pick, but the ones that jumped out to me when I was looking at possible for Fargo was neural interface and rapid hypothesis and technical expertise and collaboration.
So the
Hypothesis.
the
Oh, sorry, chat.
cybernetic ones are on the species talents plus tab,
Uh,
at E21 and below.
I think that Jolene may have rapid hypothesis already,
I
right?
I do. I
Yeah.
think you need science 5 for that.
Oh, yeah, I admit that maybe I've been slack at looking at what the requirements are.
Neural
Because
interface might
Yeah,
be interesting.
I like that
And
one. Yeah,
I
I think that's a
I
good call.
there's a big sting in the tail at the bottom of the description about the computer or the ship being damaged. And we've just sent her to the sick bay with
Yeah,
this. And I wondered, yeah, I mean,
it can be justified by Mr. Varick, like improving and fixing the cybernetic implants and getting her up to speed.
yeah, but maybe it does make her a little bit vulnerable. So
Absolutely.
let's give her neural interface. Uh,
Okay. And does anyone have an idea for what they want for their advance, for their milestone?
I'm going to raise Fate's control by one.
Okay.
I think
I
I'm
was
just
going to resist temptation to raise my to 5, but you've already said that's not
That's
possible.
not
So
possible.
Is it?
I said I'm going
How
to
do you get
avoid.
how do you get a stat to 5 then? Is that
You
like a
can you
major
can
milestone?
only have a 5 if you've done it during character
Creation.
creation, and you can only have one. And
Hmm.
there is, I think, with a major milestone,
Gotcha.
there's the ability to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, Fate just went all in on security questions, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm gonna
so I'm going to
raise my
raise presence to
reason to
10, I
10.
think.
Okay. Uh,
Get more command focus. Yeah.
so we are going to get started.
Nice and simple.
The thing that I sent you for the captain's log is going to be a little bit in Vate. We've got some. I did put this bridge laying first. So we start with Commander Vate. Commander Vate, we talked about this last time. It was something that was mentioned as a wish and so on. What is Vate's hollow program? What is when I go to train or relax or work, what is you know, the Chaotica program that you're playing with?
Um, I think we previously established in a previous season that he really likes extreme sports from various different cultures. And of course, it being Star Trek, the original one was, a 90s skydiving thing where he had to cut away his chute and grab onto somebody else and come down. Um, but, this season they've got a higher budget, so we don't need to shoot scenes on, the real world. We can use CGI for
Right.
this. And so I think it is skiing on Andoria, like being chased by an avalanche as it comes down the ice moon. Tivelic's with him, guiding him down the slope.
Divelle is with him, guiding him down the slope, and you're enjoying this. Divelle, this is part of that extreme sports rotation thing there, and you are going along and skiing, and Tivelic's by you, and then the avalanche catches up to you, and you will see it hit Tivilik and he goes under the snow. And do you keep going? Do you stop? What do you do, Commander Vate?
Uh, well, this is a holodeck, so it keeps going.
Okay.
And what are you going to do against an avalanche? And I think it being on Andor, you're right. Like, it's not just an avalanche of just like a sheet of snow. There are these huge like ice crystals that are just rolling down with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you've done this run before. You kind of know it, in that sort of way. But then the path you're on, the cliff you're on, like ends. And even before you realize it, you will find yourself hurtling out kind of into the void with spikes down below. Like, what do you do to stop yourself, to catch yourself? What's the trick here?
um, it is unhooking a like a Andorian ice axe. It's on a long chain, and it's like flicking out from like across his back, like where it's been wrapped around, and it whips back into the cliff behind him, and he just extends on a long, like long arc, swinging around, coming crashing back into the cliff face.
And things go over you, snow and ice and things, and you've got that ice axe has like hit right at the lip of the cliff you went over so you can climb back up. There is a smack as you dangle into the cliff, but I think the thing that strikes you is there is a brief shadow, and you will see Vate, uh, not Vate, sorry, Devilic, carried by the snow and stuff, fall screaming down into the void.
Outreached, and I'm going to yell, "Computer, end program."
And it doesn't end. And you're hanging there. You realize you smacked. You realize that this doesn't this feels very weird. And I think you look up and you will see a shadow at the top of the cliff. And the shadow looks down at you, and you will see it draw out this dagger, this
Mm.
blade, and you will see it slam in to where your ice hook is in the cliff, and it will break it off there, and you will fall back into the void, into the distance, and you wake up that kind of, classic sitting up, a little
Mm.
bit of sweat on you, in your quarters there.
Yeah, yeah, and um, on the other side of the quarters, like on this little pedestal, suspended behind a force field that's constantly on, is the Whispering Blade on a small plinth. Uh,
Absolutely. And you'll realize now that you're looking at the whispering blade, the blade that that person had looked like that, but it wasn't your blade. It was a different blade.
so far, this is the only one that Starfleet has ever found, even though we've found other evidence of the same civilization elsewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're going through the halls. We do that thing that they do when they want to tell us that maybe we're doing kind of dream sequence bits here, where it's maybe a little bit fuzzy and the camera kind of wobbles. And I think we do come in to Divelle's quarters. Divelle, we haven't had a chance for you to set this up, but you're a character who's romantic at heart.
Mhm.
So what do you think, like, when Divelle has a romance dream, what do we see? How do we know that this is Divelle's imagining of what a perfect moment or a perfect instant approach is?
I think it's like uh sort of like a moonlit on the water by the beach type scene where like the she like had just like finished swimming and come up and like she's laying on like the beach with whoever her paramour is.
And Paramore, male, female, what do we see? What do we see of them?
Um, hmm, I don't know. I think femme presenting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is their attitude to you? You know, in the classic romance, you come and sit by them. Are they are they looking off elsewhere? Are they taking care of you? Are they talking to you? What is for you, for Divelle, the romantic vibe, the
Uh,
gesture
I
here?
think it's like a massage type thing.
Okay.
So it's
And
very intimate.
there is that, and you will kind of look up and you will realize that you kind of have, I mean, this is a dream, kind of a vague thing. You realize that the face of the person who has been massaging you is kind of different. And she looks at you and she says, "Come and find me." And then she pinches your shoulder, and you've probably, in training had the Vulcan neck pinch done to you. And then like that, it's weird. You wake up from the dream
Hmm.
out of being that nerve pinch.
Yeah.
Ward, we're on that vessel again. Ancient, cavernous, the the doomsday weapon. You are there, and I think we see you look back, and you will see Adira Lee strapped into that control console again. What do you do?
I think Ward looks a little bit confused, right? Um, because usually when she has this dream, it's the chaos of the situation she remembers, all the other crew members around. But now she's alone, and she hurries over to Lee, uh, and starts to like unplug her from the device.
And Lee will look up at you, and you pulling her out of this, getting her out of this device, and she says to you, "Why didn't you do this when you had the chance? Why didn't you help me?"
And you know, Ward has no words, and we see her just look down, suddenly very interested in her shoelaces. If Starfleet shoes have shoelaces.
I think there is that moment when you kind of do that, when you hesitate, and in that hesitation, you will see wires and lines and things shoot out from that console. And as much as you have pulled her out of it, they will wrap and pull her back into this and maybe even bury her even further. And you will see them start changing. You will see them not becoming who they were. And you will hear a voice behind you say, "Good, this is what you regret. I will remember that." And you awake. What do we see of each of you? Like we cut back kind of just a quick shot of each of you. Like you've been woken up, can't quite get back to sleep. That kind of go around. Vate, what do we see? How do you react to that kind of thing? What do you do in the aftermath?
Um, I think it's natural. I mean, given Bates' talents and everything, I think in the wake of such a thing, I think he goes to meditate on the bridge, a thing that maybe disturbs some of the crew.
Do you go into the captain's chair and meditate, or like what do we see?
I go to the captain's chair and meditate with the blade, the whispering blade, across my lap.
How often do you think they've seen that?
Um, I think very, very rarely, but I think it's happened a few times recently as uh, phenomena seems to have been increasing.
And I think there is a moment there when you're there when it finally kind of Ensign Lee, who's at the helm, kind of breaks maybe the tension and says, "Was there something you needed, Captain?"
Do you mean Mahoney?
Mahoney or not sorry, not Lee. Yeah. Actually, Warrant Officer Kamala. Let's put her in there because we haven't seen her too
Yeah, yeah,
much.
yeah. It's like let's not have two Lees.
Right. No, Kamalo, who is always a little bit more grumpy and forward. So she says, "Was there something you needed, Captain?"
Uh, I needed to just hear the sounds of my ship running smoothly, Warrant Officer Kamala.
And she will do that thing where she turns back around. You can't see her, but I think you know that she's rolling her eyes a little bit at the person who's at the astrogation there.
Yeah. And I will ask, I will come down to the med bay. I will look frustrated for a second as I can't get back into it, the meditation. And then I will come down to the med bay and I'll just say, Mr. Varick, please inform me of any crew who reports sleep disturbances.
As you wish, Captain. Uh, what about Divelle? What do we see of Divelle like in the like after that kind of a little odd dream?
I think she wakes up in a sweat and it's just she doesn't think too much about the come find me part, at least not yet. But she's she definitely heads down to the gymnasium to work out some of this stress.
Okay. What is, we always see these different sports and exercise routines and things like that. What do we see of Develle's? Like, what does that workout look like?
I think she's she's doing a treadmill thing.
Okay.
It's like because she's not the most uh combat aware type person, so she's not really doing any weightlifting. It's just running it off. It's just
Okay.
like okay.
I think that's perfect. And Lieutenant Ward, after that dream, what do we see of you reacting?
Um, well, I think, yeah, I think I'll go to the holodeck
Okay.
and I'm loading up one of my programs, and it's going to be like one of the other ships that make up the Kintsugi. So we have, flight sims loaded up there, um, and I'll load it up for, attack runs at Wolf 359, right?
Okay.
You know,
Full crew, lots of hollow people around with you, so you're in a group, and I think we will see you beginning to do that. And it probably that section ends with you. What attack pattern do we see you call as we cut out here?
I think it's, something that Ward has been working on for the Kintsugi, something that's not in the manual, like, Phi 7. Um, and yeah, I mean, it doesn't work, but um, it seems to get closer than any previous runs, right?
Okay, gives you that score readout on it at the end. So we cut to our opening credits. We again see the Kintsugi, that image in silver and gold, the ship breaking apart and being brought back together in CG effects. Before we come back to the graveyard. So Divelle, uh, tell me about this double date.
I think Ward is part of it because you had mentioned wanting to think that was a good idea. I think it's did we set each other up?
Um, yeah, maybe, or um, yeah. Let's say we set each other up.
So who is with whom?
I think I set you up with our yeoman.
Okay.
Okay. So the
Um,
warrant officer Kamalo then?
Oh, is that
yeah.
okay?
Yeah,
Actually, I don't know Ward's sexuality, so
that's a good question.
It. Well, sure. Let's go with it.
Okay.
okay.
Um, I think we've mentioned that Tbilk is everywhere, so I wonder if uh, again, similar question is was Tbilk be to Divel's liking or out of the question, or what do you think?
Oh, it's not out of the question. It's
Okay.
So, uh,
pansexual.
yeah, yeah. Divelle, what do we see? Like, what is your manner on a kind of formal double date here on the ship, here in the graveyard with other people around? What do we see of you before we go and check in and see what Ward's,
Hmm.
date style is?
I think it's like also fun because like she doesn't know who she's meeting. I think it's kind of like a blind double date type situation,
Okay.
which is makes it all the more comical. So like she's dressed up, she's wore like nice dress. She did her makeup like usual. She's not on an away mission, so she takes too much pride in her appearance
Okay.
and maybe a little bit vain.
All right. All right. And Ward, what is your manner in a dating situation like this?
Um, I mean, I think Ward is by and large casual out of uniform, but has obviously like taken some advice from someone on, how to dress or like in this kind of still quasi-professional environment. Um, so I think relatively conservative approach to the kind of dating scene.
Uh, and Divelle, how is the date going on your side?
I think it's like, oh, it's Tvilic. Okay. Like I think it's more like we're already kind of friendly with each other, and I think we've fallen back into that sort of like back and forth patter versus
Okay.
like any actual flirting.
And Ward, how is the date going between you and Warrant Officer Kamalo?
I think Ward is slightly intimidated because Kamalo was, I don't know, maybe the first person she met coming aboard years ago and seemed to know everything about the ship personnel and what's really going on. And I mean, most people accept that in the absence of an executive officer, she's really in charge, you know.
Absolutely. And I think we'll see that Vic. Will, I'm gonna put you in the hot seat for Tvilic here. That's Devel's opinion on the date. What is Tvilic's take on the date? More intense, less intense, uncertain?
Um, I think that Tbillik is less intense. I think that Tbillik is like, I mean, sure, it's fine, but like I'd rather be in the science lab with her. That would be interesting. I mean, but then she's a botanist. It's not like she can teach me anything about, optimizing a phaser.
Right.
Uh,
Real
yeah,
science.
real science. Yeah.
Um,
I think Tbillik feels as though he's almost doing her a favor.
okay.
Because he saw how awkward she was with Tassa. So he's
Yeah,
like,
this still has that as the benchmark. That's good. I do think we'll have that moment when Kamalo and Tavila, either go off to go drink or grab something. Um, let's do the DeVille Ward, like how is the date going scene there.
What do you think?
I've made a terrible mistake.
Oh, what happened?
I mean, I'm not sure Tvi'lek's heart is in us.
Oh, you mean okay. I mean I thought you meant with you and Kamalo.
Oh, I have no idea how that's going.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, Tvi'lek's great. You know, he's a great friend.
Um, Apparently, this is what I understand. Um, Back before he was our commanding officer, Vate tried to set up me and Tvi'lek.
Really?
Yeah, I uh,
Was
he
there
said
anything
he
there?
said he thought I was too bossy, which is hilarious.
You?
No, no, maybe I don't know. Harsh but fair, maybe.
I don't know. Are you too bossy?
Phew,
That's not a bad thing. It's just
that's not a
finding the
bad
person
thing.
that likes it.
Well, I mean, I think I had um, uh, I had commented on his double jobbing. He really wanted a security job, and I told him to, rest. Um, I don't
Well,
know. It's fine. We're friends. We're friends.
yeah.
It's not a big deal.
The whole potential promotion you're facing isn't getting in the way, is it? Because
Uh,
rumors have spread far and wide about that. So,
yeah, you cannot believe the numbers of lieutenants and ensigns who have mentioned it or obviously thinking about it.
you might be in charge of the promotions, so it's understandable.
Yeah. Um, has Vate talked to you about it?
About promoting
The
you? No.
By promoting you.
What?
I mean, you're a senior lieutenant, head of department.
I mean, yeah, but you know the crew better. You've been
Yeah,
here
but
longer.
sure, sure.
Wait,
Sometime
do you know something?
I'm almost sure the commander has mentioned your name as
Uh,
someone he was thinking about.
do you want the job?
Hmm. I mean, yes,
Uh,
but also no.
Huh.
But all when I so you don't know this, but me and Tatasa have this history with this old captain of ours. And when Vate told me that they were bringing him back to active duty because of the war, I was at
Understandably less than pleased.
less than pleased. Like I was thinking, would it be the most terrible thing for me to tender my resignation? I mean,
I don't think you should do that.
neither do I. I haven't done it, but like this
Okay, good.
is how livid
Yeah,
I was.
that seems like something you should definitely talk out with the counselor, if anything. But yeah, I mean, if you ever want to, vent, we can always get the holodeck and load up your skating program, or was it hockey?
Oh yeah, Divelle is
We
pretty
don't
much
really have ice on Delta 4, so
okay. Uh, every time I go in to do ice hockey, ice skating, it's in the ice hockey default because Divelle has been there last. He loves the Gretzky's.
And I think that of course is a good name drop. So I think we'll see them coming back to the table. And I think we then cut to a shot of the Kintsugi. And we can see the Kintsugi is at a star base, not a great looking star base. It's one of the ones that's clearly a little bit more shelf worn. There are a number of other Federation ships at it. There is a planet down below, but we can also see something like a giant thing hanging in space just beyond it. And at least at this point, we can't quite tell what it is. Is it a weird shaped asteroid? Is it a ship? Something we're not certain, but it's huge. It's bigger than the station, but also like also maybe in a parallel orbit. So, Fate, I'm going to throw to you now.
With log, stardate 2374. The Kintsugi has arrived at Starbase 66, located in neutral space between several small empires. The station had been a backwater until the sudden appearance of an apparently abandoned alien megastructure. While I'm curious about it, Starfleet Command has limited investigation while the war with the Dominion rages. I've been ordered to attend a meeting with Admiral Shishautros, thank you, Lord, as well as the captains of various vessels, including the Oberon, Captain Carlton's new command. More and more ships are being tasked with specialized missions relating to the war. I'm unsure of what our orders will be here at Starbase 66, but I know that the Kintsugi is to receive a specialized refit while in the dock. It'll be good to see Captain and Carlton again, for everyone on the Kintsugi. We've been through a lot with the captain together, and I could certainly do with his opinion on my own ongoing dilemma. Speaking of which, the Admiralty has requested I bring across a senior officer to Starbase 66, which puts me back in the position of deciding who I should take as my senior officer.
So where do we see you? You have to make that decision. Do we see you calling them in, or do we see you already with them walking through the starbase? Like, what do you want to see here?
I think it cuts to, Vate's ready room with the two of them on the other side of the table. And, it just says, the first words, and so you can see why you two are my top candidates for the first officer's position. You've both shown yourselves to be strong officers in your own regard, and it's an impossible decision for me really at the moment. But the Admiralty has asked me to bring over a senior officer for my visit, and I would like your input. And firstly, I've already had this conversation with Lieutenant Ward, Dr. Divelle. Are you interested in the position of my number one? I can see you need a moment to gather your breath and unmute yourself.
Absolutely, sir.
Well, you weren't going to make this easy on me then, eh, Divelle?
I'm sorry, no.
Ward, you did exceptionally well during our last mission. You showed real leadership talent. Divelle, you got the seniority. You've got your own specializations. If only Admiralty had been gracious enough to tell me what we would be discussing on board the ship, this would make my decision easier. But sadly, well, there's something that Captain Carlton taught me to do in difficult decisions like this. And he goes over to the replicator and he, replicates a US dollar from like a dime or whatever you flip a coin in America. And he flips the coin to see who gets to go, basically. And why don't I do that in the dice roller?
Absolutely. I think that's perfect.
I mean, I could add more if
Yeah,
sir, I am interested, sir, but Lieutenant Ward has been served on this ship longer and it knows the crew better.
These are my thoughts as well, Dr. Divelle, but it's my duty to give fair consideration to all candidates.
Yeah.
And, well, Lieutenant Ward has had some reservations. But, Ward, is there anything you'd like to add to the...
I mean, as you know, but maybe Dr. Divelle should know also, my reservations are primarily regarding rank, and I'm not sure it's a great precedent to promote someone to executive or assign someone to as executive officer when they are outranked by other people on board.
Well, luckily that would be my problem to deal with, Ward, and not yours. But let's see
Well,
if
as your executive officer, it would be my problem.
let's see what Captain Carlton has to say about this. And flip the coin up, and I'm going to roll a d6. High is Divelle, low is Ward to represent your ranks. I rolled 2 by mistake. Go away. Go. What's
They
going
were
on?
all low,
Let's
every
go.
single one of them. 5 dice, everybody at home. All of them ones,
There we go.
twos.
High is Divelle. Divelle's going.
Okay.
I don't like D dice that much. I gotta be honest with you.
Yeah, that's how I built a little thing at the bottom so I could just hit for 2, 3, or 4 dice. So uh, I'll have to show you guys how to do that because it's a real easy way to do it. High goes to Divelle.
Yeah, yeah.
Divelle, how do you react to that?
I'm just nod professionally. There's a glance toward, but like, does this mean I'm now the XO, or is it just mean I'm coming with you? That's
That
like,
just, that just
just
means
seems
you.
like,
Yeah, that just means you come in with me. But
oh,
obviously,
okay. Yeah,
you
of
coming
course.
with me on this is another
It's
opportunity.
another test,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. And,
Always
and to be perfectly honest, we're orbiting a strange alien megastructure. It probably makes more sense for the science officers to come along, right? Like,
blessing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The flight controller being able to flight control.
I mean, unless we're piloting this strange alien artifact out of
Yeah.
here.
yeah. But
So
yeah,
we will see the ship, the Kintsugi, in one of those dry dock hangars on the Starbase. We'll see some engineering stuff being done around that. We'll see some of the crew offloading into the Starbase, and again, not nearly so clean or pristine as other Starbases that we've seen on the show and unloading. We'll do a scene with Ward here on the station, give you a chance to do that. But we start with Vate and Divelle arriving in a large conference room. We can see that there are a number of screens up of other ships in other areas. There are several captains here. You'll see Chirac, the Andorian captain of the Stockton, who you interact with in the very first episode. We'll see a number of other Cali class and a couple of Challenger class captains. We will see on screen Zenit of the Bellerophon. He was a guest captain on the ship on the previous season. That's a Galaxy class. And we'll also see Admiral Shishatros, the Andorian, kind of doing the talk. Carlton is there, and he will look up when he sees you, Vate. He has that his number one with him, and he'll nod at you, and you see him definitely look at Divelle with you and cocks an eyebrow as you sit. And what you will hear then is Admiral Shishatos will say, the war with the Dominion is not going well. As you know, they have DS9 and they have the wormhole. Currently, systems have been put into place that have made it difficult for them to fully utilize that resource. But we have the Cardassians and the Dominion to worry about. Word has reached us that the Gorn High Command has agreed to remain neutral at the request of the Dominion. They will not be supplying us with any kind of assistance. I've called everyone here because you are part of a set of ships that are going to be handling certain kinds of logistical missions right now. Some of you will be finding interdiction, the Bellerophon and the Oberon in particular. The rest of you are being tasked to a number of different search and rescue operational assignments. The situation is this: the Dominion and the Cardassians are making larger scale movements. We believe that this is the prelude to a broader offensive. We have, based on the information we've acquired, a sense of the areas that will be under attack. The Dominion have demonstrated that they are more interested in shock, awe, and destruction than they are in the actual seizure of Federation territories and facilities. So, uh, some of the Challenger and Cali class ships, you are going to be tasked with evacuating research stations and colonies in high risk positions. Uh, I will be transmitting to each of you the stations that need to be cleared, the personnel that need to be cleared. We need to do this quickly. Some of these stations have important work that we don't want falling into the Dominion hands. Some of these are colonies that we have standard agreements with to remove them from harm's way. These are missions that are going to require both logistical skill and diplomatic skill to make sure that they are carried out properly. And he'll go through and you'll see him address a number of the captains. Specifically, he kind of goes through and checks in with everybody except for you, Vate. Uh, and he will say, all right, you have your assignments. I'd like everyone moving within two standard shifts. I know a number of you have refits and repairs on ships. We'll get those done ASAP. Captain Vade, I need to speak with you and your XO privately.
Of course, sir.
And Carlton will kind of stand up, and all the others come up, kind of stand up to leave. Carlton will do that gesture that kind of says later at the bar kind of thing. And
Yeah.
and we'll nod. And Shirak will have you, or Shatros will have you come down, and he will say, we have a unique situation, Captain Vate, that requires your experience and your talents.
Understood, Admiral. What's the relation of this to the war?
You are going to be undertaking an evacuation. You are going to be handling an evacuation, but the situation is a little more delicate. I know that you have previously interacted with the visionary Agatis Roy. And I'm going to put a pin in that. We'll come back to your relationship to him in a second. We'll have you build that in a moment. And he'll kind of turn to Divelle and he will say, Agatis Roy is what some people might call a psychic supremacist, a scholar, a guru, and an archaeologist. He is fascinated with certain earlier lost civilizations and cultures and has a number of wild theories about them. Of particular focus is his research into what we term Culture 316. This is one that Starfleet currently suspects may have been associated with or connected with the psychic terraformer that you encountered on Relic 3, Vate. In any case, a few years ago, Roy maneuvered his way into permission to establish a station on a planet called Epsilon Umbra III. It's a planet with a tenuous archaeological connection to Culture 316. Roy is a Betazoid and got backing from the Betazoid government. While he originally positioned it as a scientific expedition, over time it evolved into a colony. It became clear from the start that he hoped to establish a new independent society with a focus on those with psychic gifts. His personnel includes betazoids, sensitive humans, a few Enar, Ulians, Vulcans, and even a Deltan. Uh, Roy established Epsilon Umbra III as a self-sufficient entity. They agreed to emergency beacons, but essentially otherwise cut themselves off from the Federation. There was a check-in about after about a year by the Beagle under Captain Titian, but otherwise, for the last 8 years, they've been left alone. So, Vate, tell me about your connection with Roy.
I think Agathis Roy was part of the research team that Starfleet originally assembled to investigate the Whispering Blade when Vate first encountered it on one of his earlier missions. I think he argued strongly that it shouldn't be, it should be studied. Vate's, connection to it, the fact that the blade wouldn't bind to anybody else meant that Vate should come with them with it.
Mhm.
It was bigger than the Federation, and that the Federation was full of people who just couldn't understand because they couldn't feel. They were blind to the possibilities here, and that Vate was being very selfish by wanting to continue to serve in Starfleet, and obviously Starfleet intelligence latched onto the prospects of an agent who possessed powers that were not similar to any other telepath within the known space, basically. And yeah, Roy was, I think that Vate thinks of Roy as a real asshole.
Yeah, I think that is absolutely appropriate. The Admiral will say, with everything I've told us about our current situation with the Dominion, Starfleet Command, with the agreement of the Betazoid government, believes that we need to temporarily relocate the Visionary and his followers, at least until this conflict comes to an end. The Kintsugi is to proceed to Epsilon Umbra III, convince the Visionary, and evacuate as many as possible. He went down with a colony of 273 people. We have arranged for a mission pod to be attached to the Kintsugi, which should handle the overflow population and the necessary life support resources on the ship. I know it's going to impact Kintsugi's maneuvering, but this should give you some flexibility in dealing with that. Do you understand these orders as I have given them to you, Captain Vate?
I do, Admiral. Uh, if Mr. Roy does not wish to comply with our evacuation order,
You are to evacuate as many people as possible. This is an official command from Starfleet. Despite Roy's beliefs, we and the Betazoid government still have dominion over this planet and this archaeological expedition. He may consider it a colony, but it is still a scientific expedition under our auspices. If he refuses to comply, you may act accordingly.
understood, Admiral. It's an evacuation first and an eviction second.
Absolutely. Uh, I believe, Dr. Divelle, that you have some experience with the Deltans, if I recall from your background.
That is correct, sir.
So you're familiar with the use of low-level psychic telepathic abilities. So I hope that you'll be an asset to this mission. Uh, Commander Vate, you're dismissed. It will take 2 standard cycles for them to get the mission pod set up on the Kintsugi. So you and your crew have that time at your leisure.
Yes, sir.
And what I want to do is take our first break here, and then I want to come back to Ward on the station, maybe Vate, Divelle talking with Carlton, and before we kind of move the ship along. So let's take 10, and then we'll continue. And I'd like to imagine that when we come back from the commercial break, I want to see Ward, you are on the Starbase. what do we see you doing? Are you tracking down friends on other ships? Are you buying souvenirs? Are you doing something else? Like, what do we see you doing?
I mean, I think probably the main thing, like the thought process is like, why is the starbase so grotty, right? It's like, um, uh, I think if we fill in like Ward's background, her mother was chief engineer on Starbase 74, and she would certainly have never have allowed her starbase, to be treated like this. Um, but in terms of like what Ward is doing, I think she is shopping for Dr. Divelle for a present. I think this is like as um, a token of appreciation for Ward using up all of those coffee stocks over the past while. So I don't know, shopping for
Yeah.
jewelry or something.
There are a surprising amount of like new like pop-up stores here. The one vibe you'll get is that there has been a rush of scientists and things coming here to trying to get access to this megastructure. And then of course, the follow-ons of Ferengi and others setting up shops, but of course nobody's being allowed in yet. Uh you could tell that part of the reason that like this station has gotten overloaded. It's also a station that is close to the Zinti, Lyran, Gorn, and Hydran areas. So we do see some of those people on. We reuse the costumes from the last episode to bring them on, recolored and repurposed. Um, where do we see you? Like what kind of thing are you shopping for?
I think jewelry, maybe something that looks slightly different from what we saw Divelle in on date night, right?
Hmm.
Maybe something. Maybe there's Gorn jewelry, or maybe there's some alien jewelry here that I think she might appreciate, as an artifact, even if it's not her personal taste. I don't know.
And I think as you're shopping, you will hear a voice call out your name, Lieutenant Ward, and you will turn and you will see uh, the former number one of the Kintsugi, Vrola Andala, an Andorian, and she will approach you, and she will say, Lieutenant Ward, I'm surprised to see you here.
Um, Commander, I'm just taking a stroll off the ship. We're berth, and the captain and Lieutenant Deval are off at a senior meeting.
Yeah, I know. I just got out of there. I had expected that you would have been with the captain.
Well, still lieutenant junior grade, sir. So I don't think I count as senior staff yet.
I I keep my antenna up and I talk with people on the Kintsugi, and certainly there was talk that you were going to be stepping into my former chair.
Well, here's hoping. The captain hasn't yet made a decision. So,
Ah, okay. So you're not out of the running.
no, sir, no, sir. Um, any any tips, if I can be so bold?
If you want it, you have to say you want it, and you have to know that you want it and show that you want it. If you do, you've got to demonstrate that. You're always so so strong and so forward and so gifted when you're at the helm, but you show so much restraint elsewhere. You've got to bring some of what you bring to the con to the rest of your life. Uh,
I remember our reviews with fondness, Commander.
yes, yes. When I left Commander Vate with some names, and your name was certainly high on the list. So I don't think you would be making a mistake by appointing you to that position. That's nothing against Divelle. I haven't served with her, so I really couldn't say. But I hope that you you arrive at the place you want to be.
Thank you, sir. Are you sticking around or
Captain Carlton
I
is
should
meeting
pass?
with your captain right now, but we're heading out soon. Our orders take us out soon, but I know that you and the Kintsugi are here for a little bit longer before you head out. All right,
Well, good luck out there.
and to you as well. And she will head off. What is the look on your face as she walks away?
Yeah, I think Ward is kind of thoughtful and I don't know, maybe uh not that she doesn't look resolved half the time we see her, but
Right.
maybe unusually resolved for being out on leisure time, right?
I think that makes perfect sense. I'd like to cut to uh, the one of the Starbase bars. We've actually kind of recreated the one from Trouble with Tribbles. That real Spartan look to it is a real basic, a little bit of spit and polish on it, but it's clear they've maybe had to open up the second bars and stuff with for the new people that have arrived in, and we will see Carlton there with Vate and with Divelle, and he will Vate. So, how are you finding the Kintsugi, Dr. Divelle?
It's an excellent ship with an incredible crew.
Pretty solid there. I took some of the best with me, but there's
Yeah,
still enough cream there, I think.
yeah. Starfleet's done an incredible job building it, and Captain Vate has been commanding the ship as best as I can tell. I mean, we've managed to get through quite a few situations under his leadership.
Had some rumors of some cooperative mission with the Gorns and the Zinti.
Yes, a great space race uh, and an interesting botanical experiment, I think. When you say Dr. DeBell?
Oh, incredibly, we learned so much about the field of metamorphic fields and their how they affect plant life of certain species and varieties.
It was a real benefit. It was a real piece of good fortune that Commander Latal was no longer on board. Didn't agree with the Tellarite digestive system, among other reasons, of course.
Yeah.
Race drink to to old
Oh
friends.
yes, yes. Well, I'm sure that he is as chief of one of the star bases. I'm sure that he is making other people's lives interesting wherever he is at. So, um, but if I may be so bold as to say, two senior skilled Orions on a ship that must be a first in the Federation at this point.
Yes, and I've noticed that Dr. DeBell and Clementas get along so well. He says and leans back with his drink, staring, like smiling slightly at her.
Did you know Tatasa before you joined the ship?
Uh, no, she's the first other Orion I've met in Starfleet.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I know your numbers are few, but
yeah,
hopefully that'll be growing and changing.
yeah. So I believe my sister is in the academy currently. So
Oh,
younger
excellent.
sister. So
Well, I will keep an eye out for her.
Doing well. Uh, you can barely see the well joins in the ship anymore.
It's interesting being on a ship that is of one piece. Um, I do admit miss a little bit of the Kintsugi. After all, part of the ship that I had served on before uh, is part of the Kintsugi. So
Still going strong, Captain.
good. Well, I know that you have special orders, and I should be getting back to conferring with Zenit about the patrol routes, but it was good to have a chance to check in with you.
It's good to see you too, Captain.
And he'll
He's
do that gesture that says to the bartender, "This is on him," and he will head out and you know leave you and Vate to have a chance to chat.
best captain I ever served under, and I'm glad I saved his life the first time at least.
We, but not the second time?
There was a stampeding creature, wild livestock. It was very smelly and uncomfortable.
Ah,
Uh,
of course. I
actually,
understand. You have your
actually,
limitations.
yes, yes. It was actually on Culture 3, one of the Culture 316's relics that drove the creature into its rage. And the captain's negotiation, diplomacy, the captain's diplomatic abilities had left him for a brief period.
Oh.
I'm
Well,
sure
let's
this,
hope the same thing doesn't happen to you in the future.
well, I'm not here to pull my own ass out of the fire, am I? So, yeah, I'm happy with, I think I will have a quick chat with Divelle though. Like, Divelle, one thing that's really making my decision about the X so harder is that I don't get the sense that either you or Ward, you're both too polite with each other. This doesn't
Well,
seem like a race. It seems as though, neither of you are pushing hard for the position.
we are friends and colleagues, and we get along, so it wouldn't be beneficial for anyone on the ship if we were to be more cutthroat with one another and trying to obtain this promotion.
What I want to
And
know, Belle, is when I give the position to someone, the person who really wants it. There's a lot of responsibility.
I know, and to my understanding, I don't think there are any Orion that have served as first officers, and it would be a huge achievement for me, myself, and any other Orion looking to join Starfleet.
Indeed. And, it crossed my mind when I was looking at Lieutenant Tatassa as well. But I feel like Tatassa lacked the drive.
Oh, that's a
Nope.
shame.
Uh, you'll get to meet Mr. Roy. That'll be a test of anyone's diplomatic capabilities.
And you have familiarity with this individual? And what was it? Culture 317?
316.
360. I'm so close.
It's rumored to have a connection to this, and he pats the blade, though we're not quite sure what. Uh, I think they're two separate cultures, aren't they? The Doomsday Weapon and the terraforming,
Yes.
as far as we know, yeah. But there was some sort of vague psychic link at some point between the two things. But it's buried deep within history. Unlike my own history with Mr. Roy, which is rather more recent and rather more strange, people have this idea that betazoids are incredibly empathic just because we can feel other people's emotions.
I
I
mean,
can,
that is a definition of yes.
yes, but caring about them is a different matter.
Of course.
Uh,
Deltons have the same reputation, even more so with their psychic prowess.
yes. Well, I try my best not to abuse my abilities, and so do many betazoids. beta Zs even. But you're about to meet someone who's not quite so polite.
I'll I'll be on my toes, as it were.
Uh,
And like, and you should have you shown the blade to like, do you just wear it on your hip? It's like,
I do wear it, yeah, because it's like an artifact, it's a valuable, like it's a one of a kind, right?
yeah.
Uh, I will, you know,
Have you ever? And well, I guess like, have you ever? And have you researched the origins of this blade before? Because
we've
I
looked
mean,
into
the markings on it are exquisite.
well,
I've got a history of archaeology, so
we did uh, the ruins where I discovered it on an away mission, and we've had several encounters since. I once met someone who claimed to know everything about the blade. Uh, Reminds me of Roy, actually, a dangerous psychopath named Vost. But she's lost out there somewhere in space, along with one of our ensigns. Uh, you familiar with the Doomsday weapon encountered by Kirk?
from
And
Captain Kirk and the Enterprise, yes, I'm.
we believe that it was the same culture that developed the blade and a series of other uh, telepathically linked technology. But unfortunately, beyond knowing that they combated the Borg and that they possessed great powers, we don't know much about them. This is the only link that we really have to them. It doesn't seem to work for anyone else.
Forgive me for saying so, then why are you carrying it and not keeping it secure in a museum or a lab to study this? Because it might have
It's,
adverse effects.
it's the decision that Starfleet was comfortable with is that it appears totally inert as long when it's not in my possession.
Okay. Alarm bells.
Okay.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah,
a- and I think I want to kind of
by intelligence, I would
yeah.
say. You know?
I want to cut there and come back to the ship. And this is, on the trip to Epsilon Umbra 3. And I want to give each of you a chance to call a scene on board the ship during that journey. Um, let's start with Divelle. Kind of, you come out of that interaction with the captain, the briefing that you've gotten. You have some time, as a Kintsugi. We do see, the glamour shot of the Kintsugi, and we do see a mission pod essentially attached. Like we have the top and bottom of the cells. There's a mission pod that's kind of like strapped to then the sides of this that's kind of hooked on right now. So we definitely get that as our shot. So, Devel, when we come to you, what are we going to see you doing?
I think she's like researching the background of this glorified cult leader
Hmm.
and the archaeology, the expedition, the official archaeological expedition reports.
Sure.
Like, all right, what is actually supposed to be going on here versus what, the undercurrent of what we were told about him.
Do you want to
And
do this as a role? Do you, if you have the
yeah,
focus,
sure.
so might as
Yeah,
well. So I think this is probably a reason plus science.
sure. So 14 or under,
And
five below.
yep.
Yeah. How do I? Okay. Okay.
So that is four
Four successes.
successes.
Yeah. I
Uh,
guess you were supposed to tell me a difficulty,
oh
but
yeah, difficulty two.
okay.
So four successes. So let's start with like, what's your initial question? And then we've got, two more points plus your bonuses and things.
All right. So what in the the expedition was for Culture 316, right?
Yeah.
There's supposed to be
So the planet itself, they found some very modest ruins just like some indications, there were some sigils and bits and things that seemed to suggest that at some point it had been a planet or an outpost of 316. And while there is life on Epsilon Umbra 3, there's no sentient life,
Mm.
or rather, like intelligent life,
Yeah, so
no
the
populace.
Prime Directive is totally fine.
Right.
It's not.
And that Roy, Agatus Roy, kind of grabbed onto that because it was kind of put up as, hey, as an available place for a scientific expedition. So you have a couple more questions plus your bonus.
Right. Yeah. God, so many questions. Um, can I pull up a crew manifest of all the individuals that are officially there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
273 people
All right.
listed on the roster.
Okay. I guess, because this is going to take some time as she's poring over the records. But like, I guess the obtain information question, we're like, who's here that clearly shouldn't be? Like, does not have the background in archaeological work or,
A lot
planet.
of them. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of
Okay.
them. It's very clear
That
that they were
it's a
selected
cover.
for strength with telepathic and psionic and all of those talents really and that the Vulcans that were selected are not your run-of-the-mill Vulcans. They are ones that are a little more fringy, a little bit, there are a
Cyrocky.
set of Vulcans that are less committed to to logic in that particular form.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's quite a bit. Like there's enough cover that they were able to justify it, and you can see that clearly Roy had some support in the Beta Z government, which is how he was able to get this through.
God, anyone have idea for questions?
You can always throw the last one into momentum if you want.
Well, yeah, like because I get to ask one, and then when I spend one, I get to ask another question for
Yeah,
free.
yeah. You
But
got
yeah,
we got
definitely want to spend. I don't want to spend all the
right.
momentum or
Well, we got the base question, and then you spend
uh,
momentum for that second one. So
uh-huh.
you can do your rapid hypothesis, and you can throw momentum into the pool if you want.
Yeah, yeah, I want to do that. Uh, so do I need to think of another question, or do I think of the
No,
rapid?
no.
Okay,
Just to think about what you want as a trait to put on
cool.
there, and I'll add one to the momentum pool for you.
Sure. Crew what was it?
Oh,
Expedition investigation?
Yeah, like how about uh like yeah, expedition knowledge expedition, yeah, because you know who they are. I'm very specifically talking about the personnel.
Yeah.
Okay.
expedition dossier.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah. Uh, we see you get the montage of you looking at these records of going through and stuff like that. What is your reaction? Are you excited interest? Are you nervous? Are you bothered? Like, what do we see there?
Um, it's growing more and more worrisome because of how many names clearly have been chosen due to their specialty their biological specialty. They're extra, I would say extra normal, but it's not for a lot of these species.
Hmm.
Um, when it comes to the Delta name, do I recognize it at all? Or is it just like some Delta?
Gosh, let's roll. I think that you know them, uh, and you know them as like did not care for you because you were not Delton.
Okay,
Like
great.
I think that's uh that's a good way to put that.
Okay.
Um, let's come to the captain, and then we'll come toward. Let's have you call a scene, Captain Vate.
I don't think I have a mechanical scene. I think I'm happy with it. My officers doing the trick. I think that what I'd like is to have a scene with Ensign Fargo.
Okay.
You know,
She is back on duty station, back at sensors.
and I'll sit down in the chair next to her. I don't think we've ever given Fargo a first name, have we? Um,
No,
no. Um, you know what? I'm going to call her Ensign Jennifer Fargo
okay.
because I was reminded, re-listening to series one, that they and Fargo dated. So I think
Yeah.
that he sits down and goes, Ensign Fargo, and then sits. She turns and then just smiles and says, Jennifer, it's good
Uh,
to see you, Bridge.
Captain, Drenna, Captain.
And he pulls over, one of the chairs, like as she sat there on the side, and sits down next to her and says, "It's good to see that you're recovering well, Jennifer. I was worried when Mr. Varick had to work on your implants."
He he's been very good. I'm really pleased. We hadn't had an official counselor on board the ship, and he's been very, very good to talk to. He helped me with my, but yeah, with the cybernetics afterwards. Yes,
Are you feeling okay? No dreams?
there are always dreams,
Yeah.
Captain.
I'm happy that you continue to serve on the Kintsugi, Jennifer. I'm happy that you made it out okay. If there is ever anything that you can't speak to Mr. Varick about, then I hope you know that you can always speak to me as a captain or as a friend.
Captain, incoming subspace transmission on secure channel for you.
Thank you, Anson. And I'll just, put it through to my terminal. And I'll
I
go through
think we cut to the ready room, and you call it up, and it is a blank screen. Captain Vate, we wanted to contact you.
Well, you made it.
Goddess Roy and his people are an important strategic asset, and our section believes that they might be vital to the war against the Dominion. As you know, Beta Zeds and others are unable to scan changelings, not unlike the Ferengi, but that blank in itself can be a useful indicator. If Roy has further developed the psychic talents of his people, that technology may be very useful to us.
And just out of character, I'm assuming this is Starfleet intelligence, or is this an open communication from Section
Oh,
31?
this is your former handler.
I figured as much, yeah. Just the use of section. I want to be sure which part of Starfleet intelligence this is. Cool. This is section, other section. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. 32. Yeah. Understood. Uh, I will retrieve all research from the colony with or without Mr. Roy's cooperation.
Excellent. I know that you have stepped away from our service, but keep in mind that we can always be of assistance to you, and it's good to have a friend.
Likewise. I've always been clear that's our arrangement.
It is. That is the arrangement as it stands now.
I'll keep you posted.
And it just ends.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. Cool. Well, I mean, that gives me a good fictional positioning for using my well connected ear to the ground or whatever it is talent
Yeah.
where I was about things. So
Lieutenant Ward, let's have you call a scene.
Um, I'm stuck between two stools.
Okay.
I think one thing that Ward is doing is she has sent a communication to all flight controllers that we will be doing training, simulation training, to take into account our new, I don't know, giant trailer at the
Yeah.
back. That
Right
is.
now, when you're maneuvering with this, the complication range is increased to an 18, 19, or 20.
So yeah, and I'd probably put this through the captain, but this is, mandatory for all flight controllers or navigation staff taking the helm. And I think Ward is like planning her flight path to not having to fly the Kintsugi all the time, right?
Okay.
I've got to train these people up so I'm not stuck at the helm, so I can be promoted, right? But she's just going about it her own way.
Do you want to do this to create a trait?
Yeah, I think it might be useful to create a trait to maybe make it not so dangerous to fly this thing
I think that's
when the
perfect.
stakes are high. Yeah.
So I think this is going to be con, but this is about kind of training people. So let's do presence plus con.
Okay. Um,
Do you have
and
anything
I
for training people?
no, I wonder. I mean, I think it's a stretch for helm operations,
Right.
and uh, yeah, I mean, I think it's a stretch for starship recognition also. Like we're changing our the way we do things because our starship has changed, right? So,
Hmm.
but I think it's a stretch for those. I mean, improvisation is not really something I can train people on. That's the seat of the
True.
pants stuff. So,
Let's have you roll 2d20. So I think this is creating a trait is difficulty two.
okay. I guess we will take our chances. I don't think there's any other. I should bump my determination back up to one. But I'll just make the roll and see what happens. Two successes.
Two successes. So yeah, you can create a trait. What do you want to call that?
Um, I mean, is it's a little bit comical, but is like training wheels,
I like
or
that.
something like that.
I think that's
Um,
perfect.
maybe the helm has been entered with some parameters that tell us when we're um, drifting a little bit too close to what is now
Hmm.
dangerous.
And I do think part of the problem is both that you have this additional weight that is not necessarily perfectly balanced for the ship itself that you have to deal with. The inertial dampeners had to be retuned for that. But there's also like retasking power conduits to this and getting that set up. And basically these are like big personnel trailers. These are unglamorous places for people to stay and to give them space to store some goods that they would bring in and so on. Probably has an additional cargo transporter on each one of these pods to make that process easier. Um, but definitely kind of a heavy feel.
Mm.
So
And I
yeah,
I mean, I think I'm making people groan by this is like a mandatory daily task for all Helm officers, right?
Okay,
For the duration of our connection with this monstrosity. Um,
excellent. And we will see the ship flying, and we will see you drop out of warp into the Epsilon Umbra system. Uh, it it's a standard planetary system. There's a nearby one of those sort of dark matter clouds, which is how the Umbra name got applied to this area. So that kind of you've got the star field, but then there's a big black spot in it. But we'll see you come in and uh, uh, Epsilon Umbra 3, third planet from the sun, and uh, you're not picking up any other vessels, Dominion, Federation, or otherwise, in the area, Captain.
Hail hail the colony, Fargo. Ward, bring us in closer.
And we will see Fargo working the comms, then, and there'll be a bit. And Captain, I'm not getting any reply from the colony. Um, I'm not picking up any comms traffic on the colony.
Go to yellow alert. Uh, Dr. Divelle, can you perform a scan of the colony? Any life
Of
signs?
of course, sir.
Why don't you do a sweep? This is reason plus science, and of course you can use the ship's die with the sensors for this if you wish.
Sure. One success currently.
Okay, and the ship's die, which would be sensors 11 plus science, so 14 or less for the ship.
Okay. So two success total.
Okay. Uh, you're picking up life signs. They
Yeah.
they are in what appears to be, five sort of settlements. It's a population of 350,000 people on that planet right now.
Uh, Captain, apparently, unless I'm misreading the scanners, which seems unlikely, there's over 300,000 people on this planet, as opposed to, the 200 we were intended to.
Yes, and as opposed to the 300 extra capacity that the Kintsugi can hold with the cargo pod. I think we're going to need a bigger boat, Dr. DeVell.
Uh,
Let's take our second break here. This is a good break point. We'll
uh,
take our commercial break. Let's take 5 and come back on that one. So we do commercial break and we come back again to a glamour shot of the planet. Um, Classic green, blue sort of little, colorization there. The sort of the swing around of the orbit there. Where does this scene take place? Are we still on the bridge, or have we gone to the ready room? Where are we, Captain, when we come back?
I mean, this is the classic next generation. You are on the bridge and now you're all having a meeting situation, right? And we've
Yeah.
got all of the senior crew and, uh, Ensign Fargo, Tassa, etc., like sat around the table. Uh, can I ask if the census identified a main settlement, like the biggest one?
They will say that this is what Varga has right now. There appear to be 5 settlements scattered out in different areas. They are a distance from one another. They seem to have approximately relatively the same number of people per. Um, None of them are in the location of the original colony. Um, uh, so they seem to have spread out from there.
And any warp cores detected, Ensign Fargo?
We're not picking up anything in the way of warp core or warp technology, sir.
Well, I knew the
Sure.
Roy was. Yeah.
Is there a time dilation difference that could be going on with this planet and us? That time moved faster for them?
I think there's are you asking that as a or
I guess
rolling that?
I'm rolling to figure that out.
Okay, I think that's fair. Uh, do you have any temporal physics or anything
God,
like
no.
that? Okay. I think that's reasonable science.
Yeah. She focused on the physical and not the theoretical.
I'll remind us that time travel is on our list of no thanks on the palette, right? But
Cer
That
cer
was
good
great.
question to
yeah,
ask.
I will say very going back in time yourselves and all of that is off the table. There are certain time things that are still here,
Yeah.
but in this case, I think you
And
missed.
then the ships, do I get the ships die?
Now you do.
Will it matter? I don't know what the difficulty is. Well, it's a four, so that might
I
be
think
a
it's simple. I think it doesn't seem. I mean, you're scanning it, and the passage of time on. I mean, it would have to be system wide. I mean, for it to be different. You and so it would probably be affecting you. So you check your chronometers against galactic chronometers off of subspace, and
okay.
it is still the same. It doesn't seem like at
That
this
one vo
moment there's any kind of
Yeah.
time dilation going
Uh,
on.
it's not like that one Voyager episode. Just checking.
Okay.
USS
I only watched like Amelia Earhart and a
Ah,
couple of other episodes of
right.
Voyager.
Well,
So
they encountered this problem where the
Yeah.
doctor lived like 100 years on a planet in 5 minutes in space.
okay.
Um, and Fargo, any signs that the colonies detected us? You know, active sensors.
Uh, I'm not picking up anything like that. I there's minimal power at the old colony site, but that's as far as we've gotten anything like that.
But I knew where I
Do
was
we
going.
have the original survey that was done on this world available?
Yeah. And I think you can pull that up. Uh, and it looks like all five of these locations, steads, holds, whatever you want to call them, are all located on a single continent. Uh, they are. It is weird. They did like if the colony is here, the others are. It's kind of a circle around in some ways. They're kind of spread out, not equidistant, but relatively uh, from that. Uh, like I think you can see that there has been some uh, civilization, uh, you know, mass projects like dams and things like that, that kind of thing. But the actual like terrain, the shape of it, the map is the same.
And obviously, then nothing. Those big projects, you could never miss those on a survey initially,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I like to use my well-informed ability, talent,
Okay.
give you a threat, to ask the game master two questions about the situation or location as if I had spent momentum on the obtain information spend,
Okay.
and in the form of the dossier that Starfleet intelligence sent me of possible, vague bits of intel that may be related to Roy, the colony, etc. Right? And I want to ask,
Okay. So I'll add that threat.
yes, please do. I look forward to you spending it. Um, this is a substantial number of people, right? This is 300,000, right? And I know
Hmm.
that probably millions of billions of Beta Zs and Vulcans and other such, well, probably less Vulcans. They don't seem to pump fire and everything. Probably limits the amount of Vulcans there can be. Um, but so many people. Is there any like telepath railroad, like sort of movements of people, recruiters, like, cults sort of like taking people
I think
across.
that's it. I think Roy kind of represents the apex of that in some ways.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
like that's definitely his thing. However, you know that Section 31, the people that you know, they definitely keep tabs on that. Like that is a concern, particularly because there has been malfeasance by certain telepathic species. For example, the Ulians are the ones that pull up your memories and help you relive those, but they've also, some of them have abused that.
yeah,
So they are pretty certain that there has not been a mass movement or mass exodus of telepaths. And I'm going to use the term telepaths or psychics just in the most general sense here, certainly to this area. What's your second question?
my second question is, we know we're evacuating this because of the Dominion. I suppose my usual question would be, do we know of what Starfleet's intel about the Dominion's position so close to here?
Yeah, this is actually the issue is that this is close enough to where the new Dominion maneuvers are going on that they want to get these people out of here because this is on the path that they are projecting. And
Yeah,
that probably means at some point there's going to be at least a pair of Dominion attack ships. They they cruise through, they check the systems, and they will definitely detect life signs.
yeah. Okay. I mean, I mainly wanted to ask that first question. The second question, I think, is in a fictional position for me to maybe like we can't just subspace back to Starfleet and go, "What's your command now?"
Yeah.
Uh, well, we're gonna have to go down there and find out if they're not answering our hails. I would suggest that we begin with the original colony site. Any volunteers for the away team? I'll be going down myself.
Naturally, Captain. I mean, just we need to figure out what happened, obviously.
Of course. And the usual question to Donna is, do you want to come down as Ward or do you want to take a supporting character?
Yeah, I think I'll take a supporting character. Maybe Ward says maybe I should stay up here just in case.
True, the Dominion could come through at any time, Ward. Uh, if they do, I know that you'll act accordingly.
Who do you want to take, Ward? Tavalic?
Um,
Someone new? A new NPC we haven't seen before?
um,
It could be another Betazoid.
I w yeah, I guess what kind of problem do we think this is? Is is this something? Is there an engineering uh solution to this, or yeah?
Who
I think
knows?
that's reasonable. Um, maybe
I think
maybe a person who's a specialist in the sort of DIY ground base stuff, assessing engineering tasks and so on.
Like an operational
Uh,
guy.
yeah, I mean, we have Lieutenant Topher or Denobulan, who we
Hmm.
saw in a couple of encounters last time. We have no idea what his job is, so maybe this is it.
I think that's fair. Absolutely. So yeah, let's have you put him together.
and we won't take the shuttle down because there's interference or whatever, right? We'll teleport down like they do in most Star Trek
Okay.
episodes.
Uh,
So,
so Divelle, Vate, Tofir, and TBD. Like we're going to
Yeah.
put TBT for sort of there are other people there if we need to have them. I do think that though he's the actor is not here right now for this particular part of the episode. The actor for Varric will be there and will grumpily agree to go down
Yeah,
with you if that seems fair.
that seems perfectly fair, yes.
Uh,
Yeah, and let's reassemble in the transporter bay.
uh standard loadout.
I mean, there's no reason to come down heavily armed.
Okay.
So that includes a tricorder, right? A
All right.
phase phaser.
Standard head phaser, tricorder, the usual stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of any extra gear we would need because 300,000 people is just it's an impossible
Yes,
number for us to do anything with.
exactly.
We need several Galaxy class ships.
And so I'll have you make your picks on Tofir. We'll see people gather up, um, and we see our uh, probably our warrant officer, since they are always, they're like our Chief O'Brien. We'll see them handling the transporter duties and getting set there. Um, Anything you want to tell us that's interesting about Tofir, Donna?
Yeah, we, I think he is, I think our impression of him last time was kind of bemused with how deferential people were being. I think this is because, in the Nobulan society, it's, big families, big social groups. It's, uh, eat now and, you know, um, or else someone else will eat your meal. So it's communal, but also very much kind of individual. Look, take care of yourself first. Maybe in more enlightened times, it's affix your own mask before you look after others.
Fair enough. I like it. And Ward, when you have the con, do you stay at the helm or do you go into the captain's chair?
Yeah, I think very much like Ward did during the plant invasion. Take the captain's chair,
Okay.
and whoever is on duty for the helm uh, takes that.
Okay. Uh, and so we will see this group, the transporter effect, that collapse and draw in that we've described as the effect of the transporter. And you will appear on a soundstage. Classic, when they transport into an old base where the lights are kind of out and there's a little bit of dust and things. And definitely sort of as you get in there immediately, it has that feel of a place that has not been looked at or gone into for some time. There's very minimal power going there. Um, and so let's start with Vate.
Um, what's Tofir's specialities?
I don't know.
I guess we have made him an engineering if he is going to look for some other kind of solution. But yeah, I'm going to
Unless
shop
he,
for.
yeah, unless he's been introduced as a senior member of staff, doesn't have any stress.
Yeah, he basically has if he gets hit, he goes down kind of
Yeah. Sorry,
thing.
like it
Yeah,
was just defaulting at
yeah,
turn.
yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I just was.
Uh, so Tafir, let's start with you then. What do you do?
I would ask you to scan for life signs. I think if that's, I can't remember what the tricorder role would be.
Like other, yeah.
Would it be science plus control or
Yep.
engineering?
It'd be a science plus, uh, I think actually a reason because you're trying to analyze something here.
And I should probably
Okay.
ask Dr. Bell then. Sorry. I just wasn't sure of the speciality of Lieutenant Tafir. So
Uh,
Dr. Bell, sorry, belay that order, and Lieutenant Dr. DeBell.
I think Dr. Divelle was going over to any control panels and just booting up to see what the last time anything here in this facility was accessed.
Hmm.
It looks like, well, let's have you make a roll for me here. So that'll be reason plus engineering
Yeah, okay.
or reason plus con.
I'll do engineering. So looking for a 12 or less. No. All right. Wait, I need 2 dice.
So two successes.
Yeah.
Uh, so you'll pick up that there has been like minor, like, you know, doors open, access, minor use, like over the last couple of years, like maybe people coming in and out kind of thing. But the main system have not been used here. However, the logs show that this was constructed about 273 years ago.
Huh. We have a situation, Captain. And when we scanned, like original scans did not show this. This was like
Correct. Though this is
Starfleet built.
Starfleet
Yeah.
built.
Okay. There might be some corruption in the logs, but this appears to be over 2 centuries old, according to this log,
The
this
temple.
structure, which, you know, shouldn't be possible.
Well, perhaps there is something to your temporal theory after all, Dr. DeBell. Um,
I
yeah.
should have studied more about that.
Um, I would like to use my quick survey ability, which
Sure.
I don't. So at the start of the scene, I may immediately ask one question if I had spent one momentum on the obtain information momentum spend.
Okay.
Hence, can I provide information that I could obtain with my own senses? Can I gain information from equipment in such a short time? Now, I am a psychic.
Uh-huh.
Do I sense the presence of people beyond my team anywhere nearby?
I think there are other people in the structure. Not many, but there are maybe a handful of other people in here.
Then I say there are people here. And I just, like stand and turn slowly on the spot and then extend the finger towards the closest one. And I say we should go in that direction and see if we can find out what's happened here.
Uh, what is Tofir doing as this is going on?
I mean, I think I'm going on the tricorder anyway, because the captain belayed that order, but I'm my own man.
Yep, okay. Let's have you make that roll.
So
Science
reason
plus
plus
reason?
science, yeah, so that's 13. I don't have any talents or focuses yet. Do I start with any
I
focuses?
believe that you start with a focus, if I recall correctly. Three to start.
Okay. Um, let's do some basic engineering ones like transporters and replicators and maybe tricorder
I like that.
operations. And maybe I can fill in the last one when I think of something.
Absolutely.
So I'll roll two dice. So it's 13-3. Okay.
So two successes. So what do you want to know?
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess really we're looking for the date is one thing, but also, Is there uh, any signs that this has been used recently? Because I'm not
It
seeing any
looks like
people
it was
here in
abandoned for a
units.
long time, but that maybe recently there have been people coming in here. Like you're getting signs that you definitely have the sense that maybe there are people who are using it as a shelter or a hangout and maybe don't know exactly how that is. I'll give you another thing. I think this is probably like kind of a emergent thing from you and Divelle's thing is the systems are very minimal. It does look like a lot of this place has been cannibalized. Like the tech and things have been taken out of here. What's been left behind is very much, the hardwired infrastructure for this place. But otherwise, any more sophisticated stuff or any units that could be taken out of here have been taken out of here a long time ago.
Um, and I maybe another question on this is maybe um, if I see signs of there being some activity, do we see footprints? Do we get an idea of the number of people who might have been moving through
I think
here
it
during that
confirms what
phase?
Vate has suspected that there is just a handful of people, and you can move. You will have to essentially hand crank the doors. To get them open, they slide on that. But of course you do that Star Trek and move them. Uh, and are you trying to approach quietly, Commander Vate?
Yes, I think we are because we don't know what the situation is here, right? So we
Then
want to.
I think this is control plus security. I think your difficulty, I'm going to say, is actually going to be 3 for this because you don't know the layout. This place is noisy, as you're moving things along. Now, you're welcome to get an assist on this.
Yes, I would love an assist on this.
Okay.
Perhaps
I think
from
I
Ether
can
will
try.
help out. Oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
Who's got the highest video, I
Control
think?
plus security.
Uh,
I have a 13 versus Toffier's 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So, Drenna, Captain Fate, why don't you roll that 2 dice?
uh, we need 3. Does my focus of espionage come into this?
Now, I think espionage is information gathering and things like
I
that.
agree with you entirely. I just have to ask, right?
Yeah,
It
no, I
might.
think it's fair.
Um, you know what? I don't think this is a huge deal if we don't manage to sneak up on them.
Okay.
So currently, I'm not going to buy momentum. So roll these 2. Ah, terrible.
Okay.
That's one.
Uh, that is 1 and for Divelle,
a 13.
13.
It's exactly what I need.
So 2 successes, so not enough, and a complication.
Uh-huh.
So I think that you are moving along, moving through here carefully, uh, and you will come into another chamber here, and you will hear and you've got a couple of red shirts with you, and you see them kind of freeze in place. And you will then see and realize that there are a group of people that have clearly heard you and have kind of moved into position around and will kind of emerge from the shadows. And you will see they kind of are looking at you with, real surprise. See them looking at Tofir and Divelle very oddly, like they've clearly never seen an Orion or a Denobulin. And you will see kind of clearly the leader is a man and a woman, and Divelle, you will recognize the woman. as the woman from your dream. She is the second picture on the NPC tab, and he is the first picture on the NPC tab. And you will see that two of the people, there are like a handful of them, like let's say six. Two of the people are standing there and with their hands on their foreheads. And I think Vate, you have enough sense to know that they are holding those red shirts in position.
My name is
And
yeah. So yes, you.
the woman will say, "Who are you? You are not of the chains."
My name is Commander Vate from the USS Kintsugi. We're from the Federation.
And the guy will say, "He has a blade." And like there'll be a shake, and they suddenly get super they the situation goes from they're a little worried to freaking 11 immediately. I'm going to come back to you three in just one moment. Ward, you're in orbit there, kind of taking on the duties of the captain. Uh, Suddenly, there will be a call from engineering. Captain?
Captain here, Ward here. Engineering, what's going on?
This is Tasa. We just had a massive cascade failure across the sensors. Sensors are down. I can get long range system scans, but all planetary sensors have gone down. Um,
It's
we
an
can't.
attack.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I have to get in there. It's not anything I've seen before. I don't know what's happening. I've been trying to get a hold of Farga, but she's not on station. And you'll look over, and her seat is empty.
A yellow alert.
Okay. She says,
Um,
I hope no one's on planet because we're not going to be able to use transporters.
I'm aware. Thank you, Tatasa. Update me, please.
Okay. What do you
Uh,
do?
Bridge to Ensign Farga, and then I'll look at the duty roster and call up the next person who should be on comms.
Okay. And uh, I think we see, the next person comes up, and I think we cut to a shot of a comm badge just sitting in a Jeffries tube.
Um, yeah, and I guess the next step is when Farga does not respond, it'll be a security team to locate her.
Okay. So you'll dispatch to Villic to do that, and you will call up the next sensor person. Um, I think we cut to a shot of Farga moving through a Jeffries tube, and we see that kind of reflective surface, the metal there. And as she's doing that, we can see the reflection of Farga on that reflective surface. And once again, like we saw a few episodes ago, it is not her face that we see reflected there. I'm going to cut back to the planet. Captain Vate, the situation, boom, you can tell that they are suddenly like they've gone from we don't know who you are to, oh, we better kill these guys.
How the
Yeah.
yeah, Divelle's gonna
Let,
step
let me
up.
let, let, let me
Okay,
let the captain go first, and then we'll come to Val. I want to give that, but we'll do that.
I was going to ask because this is a new scene,
Oh yeah, we,
but
we cut away and we'll come back, have a commercial break. We'll
yeah.
give you that.
Uh, but I think I'm in the traditional Deanna Troy position of my one question was going to be what is their emotional response to the blade, and I can see that it is hostility and anger, right? Like
Hostility and fear.
fear. Uh,
So I think that does that seem like a fair answer to your
that
question?
seems like a more than a fair answer, yeah. And I will step forward and put both hands up, and I'll say, "Wait, we're here to rescue you. What's going on?"
All right. Uh, Presence plus command. Divelle, do you want to make your own roll or do you want to assist on this one? You're kind of describing that you also wanted
Yeah,
to
she
help.
wanted to. Yeah, she wants to assist.
Okay.
Uh, really hoping that can the Ryan trait help with this on some? But, like, calm down. We mean no harm. We were sent, just supporting her captain's claims in this. We don't
Abs
even know what this means.
Absolutely. Absolutely. However, I'll also offer you a determination not to do that.
Okay. Okay.
And that
Uh,
determination not to do that is you seeing
Getting
that
distracted
person,
by the
yes,
woman from my dream. Yeah, no, I'll take that.
hit your values there.
I'll take that. Yeah.
Absolutely. I
You
think,
offer me a bad choice, I will take the bad
yeah,
choice.
and that's the thing. You think you see Vate, you kind of turn like maybe Divelle, senior officer, is going to help you, and
I'm just like, I know you. Why do I know you?
Do you regain determination between missions?
yes, yes. So you start each mission
With
with
one.
determination.
Perfect. Just wasn't sure. Okay, so I do this. What's the difficulty here, though?
Ooh, I'm going to spend a threat to make that difficulty 3.
Difficulty three. Well, I have mediation, so I could roll
Yes,
crits. Um,
there is one momentum in the momentum pool.
that's just one, isn't it, though? I'm gonna spend that momentum. Screw it. As much as it's very Star Trek to get captured and have all your stuff taken off you.
Right. So no momentum left in the pool. 3 dice, presence plus command.
That is only a 13, so that is a complete. That is my first ever complete wash. I'm not going to spend my determination to.
Okay. Um, so uh
Not a complete wash. You got a 13, right?
but two less than you need.
No,
Captain.
I can never read. It looks on my screen, it's saying 14, but then I need to look down at the bottom right rather than the actual dice on the table. The
Yeah, it
dice,
looks like you rolled 3 dice. You've got 14, 19, and 13.
yeah. There was one that was like showing both 13 and 14 on the
Oh,
same.
it's cocked. Okay.
Gotcha.
Uh so Captain Vate, uh one of them will uh let loose with uh just this psychic telekinetic bolt that will hit you. And you're going to mark 6 stress as you are sent flying back. Um, and what do you do, uh, uh, Tofir?
I mean, at the side of this, I just draw my phaser,
Okay.
uh, and but in a not an aggressive security way, even though it's an aggressive act, but a hand placating it. Now let's not. Topher says.
Okay. So what do you do when you realize they have no idea what a phaser is?
Yes, it's time for a harsh life lesson. I'm gonna, fire at the one who just hit the captain.
Okay. So that is daring plus security.
Definitely Topher's strong suit.
Okay. I think this is a chaotic situation here, so I think difficulty 3.
Okay. Well, that's definitely not gonna happen. That's but let's roll.
Oh, so close.
One success.
One success. I think that you will get that off, get that up, and one of them that didn't do whatever that was to Vate will look at you and you blank out, and the next moment they have the phaser in their hand. And like in a way that tells you that they just thought it was a club and they've grabbed it away from you.
Mm.
Um, uh, Divelle now, this violence has thrown you out of this.
We we've come in peace. We didn't intend to do any harm. And she's like, constantly looking at the one woman from her dreams. You asked us to find you.
And the guy is clearly in charge, and he is like, surrender, drop whatever your equipment is now.
Yeah.
So you will drop your equipment.
She's gonna like oh she's not psychic, but she's well, they're all psychic, so she's gonna think towards the lady, but like, because clearly that's her belief. They just did a psychic blast at the captain, so like, do I know you?
So
What's going on
drop
here?
stuff. Uh, uh, Tofir, or actually, let's come back to the captain. Captain, you've been injured, knocked down, but not knocked out. You will see Divelle has kind of stepped forward and is disarming to kind of like try and de-escalate the situation. They've gotten the weapon away from Tofir, but clearly aren't using it.
I mean, old Vate would have taken any opportunity to undertake a guerrilla campaign against the enemy, right? But New Vate is now the captain, and therefore, you know, probably can't leave behind his crew in a as as captives without. Now, my question is, would any of my values give me a determination for allowing myself to be captured rather than to try and break away?
Absolutely.
Protected?
I think you have definitely you value all life has a reason of its own. Nothing important than stay saving lives.
Yeah. So I will accept the determination to surrender rather than to do what Vade's old security training would have been, which would be to do the old you know, roll away from the combat and pick them off one by one to rescue his crew. Uh,
So let's if it's okay, Tofi, are you good with the let's cut to the they've got you held and are talking to you moment?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And there is that bit where they move you into another room that's a little bit smaller where they have a little more control over you. They're just using rope. They don't have any kind of like tech gadgets to hold you. Um, uh, they definitely uh, uh, the the woman is does like make sure that she takes a hold of Divelle, like to keep her under control, and is like clearly trying to figure something out there. They are being careful with Tofir because they've clearly never seen a denobulin before, and while they are moving you maybe a little more roughly, Captain Vate, they are very scared of you, and eventually they will get you sat down and they will say, you are not from here.
we are from we are from the Federation. Space?
You
Earth? Betazoid?
from the beyond, from out from the places, the far lands.
Yes, we're here to speak to Dr. Agatus Roy. You are,
You will never have an audience with the Roy, not at this time.
well, good to
Not with
see.
the Lattice Empress in charge. She's and even before she took hold and took the House of Blades, even before that, there would be no talking with the Roy as he is now.
Fate stands up, like probably getting them, to like step back and then aggressively like step forward. He says, "Boss, is she here?"
You know the Lattice Empress?
Kintsugi, come in, Kintsugi.
And
Kintsugi.
I think comms are down.
Yeah. Is that spending a threat level?
I actually think that's a couple of threat there. Let's take that on down to a five here.
Cap and how much of a threat you have. I don't want to keep reminding you.
No, I think it's absolutely fair. And
Yeah.
and they will say the Lattice Empress appeared and took the House of Blades, uh, and then joined with the House of Chains. Eventually, the House of Diamonds joined. There are only two that remain outside, the candles and rings. Uh, we are outside of that. We are renunciates. We came here to try and find a way to go to the far lands, to get away, to escape.
When did this happen?
She, the Empress arrived perhaps a year ago.
Roy, who is the Roy?
Roy is he is the founder, he's the leader. And you see him, you get the sense that maybe he's a little bit of, I don't want to say this, but for Star Trek purposes, but I will use this term, he's a little bit of a himbo. You get the sense that kind of he's in charge. And finally, the woman will speak, and she will say, "Do not mind him. He is monofocused. He has the blood of Vulcan in him, and they tend to." And I think that you will look and you can see there's clearly some Vulcan blood in him, but just a little bit of the ear thing. And I think you'll look around and maybe you'll see like a little bit of the like what's clearly multiple generations of Anar and human blending, nubs where there ought to be those markings, things like that. And she will say, the Roy found the the gate. We I know this, I was taught by the astropath, and he told me of what happened. He, the Roy, found the gate that he was looking for, the ways of the Zothians, the old people. Uh, they had made an escape from this place to escape from a disaster, and they had fled into their past. The Roy, the Roy used the gate to bring our ancestors to them, and we met at the end of their past and joined with them. I do not understand it. The gate does not exist anymore. It was used, and we are as we are. We we joined our families to the remaining families of the Zothians, and our people have grown in the years since then, grown and divided and strengthened. The houses have developed their talents. I'm a farseer. That is my gift. Uh, and she'll
Wow.
gesture at the people who are holding the red shirts. So they have the grip.
Can I ask her to say which house she belong to?
The House of Candles is the farseers.
Grips the House of Chains.
Yes, and
Uh,
Blades uh, is well, as you know, you must possess forces. You must be able to use that. I mean, you have the sigil, the marker of the House of Blades.
where we come from, where you came from, we have a greater house. I point towards the Starfleet badge and I say, we're here to bring the Lattice Empress to justice.
Just just the six of you. You see her kind of look, and
We have a great power in the Farlands, more powerful than anything on this planet. And it remains out of reach for now, but it's there watching.
We must go to the Keeper of Echoes or to the Astropath. They will know the other houses are held by the Lattice Empress.
But it's been a long time, but I can't wait to meet her again.
And I think we will cut back up to Ward, and the person who's on comm sensors is saying, I still can't get through to the planet, Captain Ward.
Tatassa, tell me what's going on.
I'm someone someone has done, I don't want to say this, but I think someone has sabotaged sensors and comms. Uh, I'm looking into it, but someone has spent some time doing this, and I'm trying to figure out what they've done. There's some booby traps here. I don't want to try and fix this, or I'm just afraid something could go wrong, Captain. Captain,
Understood.
incoming communication from the planetary surface for you.
On screen.
And we'll see the screen come up, and we'll see classic Star Trek palatial, with the torches and stone and things like that. And I think we will see a throne, and we will see Regani Vost seated on the throne, and she will say, Ensign Ward, thank you for bringing me my ship. And that is where we are going to stop this episode. A lot of setup, but that's what we're going to take up next time. Varric is with you on the planet, and that's where we're going to go. Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah.
Uh, let's do stars and wishes, if we might. This is the episode to put your boots on the ground, Vate, as you asked for. So, stars, wishes.
Well, big star for bringing back the dangling plot thread from the last one. And I'm glad that this is this one because this is what when we started this season, I was like, I really hope that we get to this before, I'm not here for a month, which is, heartbreaking. Big stars. I really enjoyed, like having the number one discussion with Divelle, Ward, etc. Out of character, an out of character wish is that I would like us to decide that out of character. Who we think the Kintsugi's first officer should be.
Mhm.
First in character decision, right? Because it feels a bit too easy for me to just say it's Ward because they've been on the ship the longest, But and I love that we're now in the D&D adventure. We're a party of adventurers on a fantasy planet with a magical blade.
Yeah.
And everyone's got magic powers.
This is psychic Game of Thrones riff there. So
Yeah, I look forward to defining each of the other houses. We've got the chains, the grip, the candles, the chains, the candles, and the diamonds, and the blades. And the blades are obviously like ESP, basically, right? Like,
I will put a full list of the names they've given you, the houses, and what powers are associated with. I'll actually put them in the NPC tab beside
okay.
the pictures there for you.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying that we are going to have a full-on lore, world building lore to enter on the planet while up in orbit. Ward is like, oh, this fucking psychopath again. Like,
I hope that you're okay. And I do say the time travel was off the table. This is like there will be no more time travel. Like this is the only thing. It has happened before you get here.
no, I actually, I was thinking about this like sort of in the second after the second session, I just didn't bring it up really, was that like when I say no time travel, I just mean no like
Paradox, travel
time and
over. Yeah,
like over and over, like time effects, like perfectly fine. I just don't want to like mess around with continuity too much.
exactly. No, that
Uh,
that 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 seems absolutely fair. And that's what we'd had that conversation actually when we talked about that. So I felt reasonable about doing this. Anything wishes?
Wishes wise, I think you're going to deliver on all of them, right? That anything that I could say is probably what you already had in mind. A confrontation with Vost, like finding out about the Roy, the chance for Vate to have a confrontation with the nemesis that we saw on screen before and the nemesis that we created retrospectively today. And yeah, no more wishes on that at all. I think that one thing it occurs to me is that it'd be good to have Dr. Barrett here because Vulcans are technically
Yes,
right, so perfect for this person to be around.
absolutely. Jolene.
yeah, big stars. I love the opening with the dreams. I'm like, all right, we got crazy dreams going on. And then it's like, oh no, it's a planet full of psychics. I'm like, oh boy. I loved having the scene with Ward and talking, learning about, yeah, you're in the running. What are you talking about? And, the scene with Vade at the bar. It's just stars. Oh, as always, this is great. I love this game now so much. Um, also, I love that you was like, yeah, you could do that, or you could just get another point of determination because you're too into her. I'm like, yes. Okay. Yeah, wishes. I'm looking forward to, and this is also a star for Vate saying, yeah, no, we were here to bring so and so to justice. I'm like, we were not. And my wish is, hey, we're gonna have that debate in character.
I like that.
That has been Vate's ongoing mission for quite a while now.
And I do think that there's a conversation to be had about the Prime Directive a little bit here too.
I know,
That
yeah.
I love that we can kind of because I love we skirted around that. So it's very much TOS in some ways.
Hmm.
Uh,
Well, Ward isn't there to hold anyone to account, which is, some nice maneuvering.
and Ward.
Sorry, Jolene, did you have any wishes?
Oh, yeah, it was
Or
having the debate with Commander
Right,
Vate.
right.
oh, okay, okay, yeah. Yeah, the kind of opening half of that before we went on mission was great. So the those dream sequences and seeing people's reactions to those, that was good. The awkward date, the briefing, all this kind of stuff, and yeah, the whole situation we found ourselves in on planet and off. Um, yeah, I guess Ward has been looking for a chance to prove herself with this new mindset, and yeah, they didn't give her much time to to prepare, but that's good. Um, and yeah, next week, I guess I'll have to remember to make some popcorn for all those away team scenes because this is going to be good.
Absolutely.
Um, and I guess yeah, let's see what kind of trouble this rogue uh, brain melted Farga gets us in. Maybe we get a scene of Tvilic uh, tracking her down. Who knows?
And I do want to check in and make sure we do have mind control as an ask first. I've kind of put this in, it's kind of been in play. Is everybody okay with how we've done it so far? I just want to, if you're okay with it, we if it does, if people are uncomfortable at any point with that, just say, we'll kind of dial it back. It's sort of classic Star Trek thing, but I don't want to go overboard on it too much.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, I'm going to stop the recording. I do want to say one thing.